So for those of you who just watched my episode 20 review of Haikyuu, it'll be brief seconds for the episode 21 review that I'm doing for Haikyuu now. And, Suga just came in at the end of the last episode, and so I like how right off the bat when he comes in, he hits everyone, in some way, just to point, you're not being loud enough, you need to be paying attention, stop stressing out, but then he gives Nishino a high five, like, yeah, you're doing a good job, and that was really cute. I also like the fact that they, who was that mentioned? Asahi and Tanaka mentioned that the only person that can lecture Daichi, probably without, getting yelled at or reprimanded, is Suga. Because Suga, in a way, is kind of like the vice captain, to, Daichi's captain. I don't actually know if they ever mentioned if there was a vice captain. It's been so long since the beginning, it feels like, for me. But I feel like if there was a vice captain, it'd be Suga. Either way, okay. So, just mentioning that there's a change, and that they all need to come down, and they haven't been, focusing, which probably has to do with the fact that, they're losing currently because the gap's really big, but also to the fact that, Kageyama was kind of losing it too. And then, with Kageyama, who's been taken out, the coach tries to encourage, I'm not taking you out to, because you're doing a bad job, and picking you out so you can see your senpai in action and, learn. And, for you to get a little rest and take a breather, because God knows he was freaking out last episode. And, like I said last review, it even says you weren't being loud enough, you weren't talking, you were overthinking, and he didn't even realize it, which means he probably does need to take a break. And it's good that the coach caught that with teammates, because if not, you can drag your team down even more, and, lose motivation and just teamwork. And the first thing they do, with Suga predicted, it's nice in the beginning because Suga predicts a lot of things, and he was saying, it's kind of good for him on the sideline, not that he doesn't want to be in, but it's kind of good in a way because on the sidelines you see a lot more of the other team and how they've been reacting and stuff than you would on the court. And so, the first thing he just mentioned is because he has a shorter block, that he asks Suki to switch with him. So when they do a straightforward strike, Suki's there. And that's what Arakawa told Iwa to do. Iwa? It's either Iwa or, no, I think it was Kendaichi or Turnip. Or Radish, whatever you call him now. That's what he told him to do, and he went to do it, but it was, too late. And Suga and Suki switched. I also like the fact that Suga is kind of encouraging Suki and saying, good job, you're doing great. He does that through the whole episode, because Suki kind of has issues, and, Suki's also, since he's a first year, while Suga knows, Daichi and Tanaka and Asahi pretty well, he doesn't really know Suki all that well either. Or not either. He doesn't know him all that well, and how he plays, and how, he wants his throws, or tosses. And so, it's good that he's seeing how he's feeling and stuff, and God, I think it was something started with E. God, he needs to, Inoshita, I think is his name. Oh God, they need to be mentioned more, it's sad. Like he was saying to Kageyama later in the episode, he's doing that to see how his strikers are feeling, because depending on how they're feeling is, depending on how they are feeling, it varies on how they want their tosses. So, if they're not in a good mood, if they're upset, not only does that affect how they want their toss, but it also affects how they're going to be playing the game. And you want to make sure they're in a good mood, and by, appreciating them and saying, you did a good job, blah, 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 you're motivating them and supporting them. And Kamiriyama just looks at it like, that's amazing, I can understand why, at first he's just why would you want to do that, especially to Sugi, I don't want to do that. But then after Inoshita explains it to him, he's just oh, that's a good thing to do, because if they're feeling 100% by you motivating them, they're going to be hitting the 100%. So it's a good thing to do. And we'll see that with Kageyama and Suki a little bit kind of awkwardly in episode 22. But yeah, so he's learning stuff, and he is learning. And later in the episode with both Suga and Kageyama, when it's getting to like the end of the episode, he's getting encouraged and he wants to go back in because he's not only has he learned, stuff, but he's getting motivated by watching Suga and his teammates. But yeah, Suga in the beginning coming in is really nice because he's like predicting a whole bunch of stuff. He tells, Hinata to, I think, wait a little longer on his blocks or something, and to, what was it? I think it was wait a little longer on his blocks and something else, but Hinata still needs some work with striking, like, when the ball comes straight to him. And I like the fact that Suga's just like, when he gets the first toss, he's like, who do I want to give this to? Who needs to, to be motivated, or, who's going to, get this point? And he gives it to Tanaka because Tanaka had to struggle through, just trying to hit back one of Oikawa's serves. And, he hit it and he scored, so it's just like, it's proving that he knows his teammates well. What else would I wanted to say? The coach switched up, after the end of the first set, switched up the lineup, or the order, or formation, so that Daichi and Nishino are in the back, because as you noticed from the first set, Oikawa scored like more than 5 points, or 5 points or something, on his serves alone. And, those obviously need to be stopped, and he generally goes for, Tanaka or Hinata or Suki, who's not very good at receives. And so, or, Asahi, as there was mentioned last episode, how when Kageyama moved in front of him, Asahi didn't have a good time to react. But anyway, so, it's mostly Daichi and Nishino in the back receiving. What else was it? Mostly, besides that, again, not a lot of stuff to talk about, but I'm finding stuff to talk about. Like I said, near the end, most of it was just, after a while, they kind of got used to the timing of Suga's attacks, and the fact that they're getting a little used to Hinata, and like Oikawa says, Suga's stuff is mostly just textbook, so, the timing and the formation is kind of predictable, and you also find out that Suga hits to the left a lot, which is something that maybe they'll find out and notice later, and recognize, and he can fix, and start maybe, varying it up. But yeah, near the end, like I said, with Kageyama wanting to give again, Suga wants to stay and doesn't want to leave. Obviously, no one wants to get put on the bench. But obviously, since they're getting so used to Suga's hits with both Tanaka and Hinata, the coach calls over Kageyama, and that sort of hints to Suga, obviously, he's going to be taken out. And so I like the fact that the last thing he does, and he's just like, I need to make this one count, and obviously he's just like, hit it to me, I'll make it in no matter what, I'll make sure you leave with, like, confidence, in a way. And, he does, and he scores it, like, he makes that really powerful spike, and he scores for Suga to leave, with. And before they leave, Suga's just like, I'm really frustrated at the fact that I'm leaving to Kageyama, but, Hinata doesn't look at, like, he doesn't look at me the same way he looks at you, or he doesn't like my spikes the same way he likes your spikes, and something like that. Pretty much something kind of gay. Really cute, but it's just like, come on, what are you guys doing? You're insinuating it more than it's already insinuated, but no, it's good. But it's true, probably mostly because, Kageyama's tosses go straight to Hinata. Hinata doesn't really have to think about it. With Suga, he probably kind of does. So it's more natural with Kageyama, I feel. And either way, But Kageyama goes in, so now the other team has to get used to Hinata's, quicks and the super quicks and stuff, and just get used to Kageyama for the last part of the set. I believe right now they're kind of even, a little. I think Seiho's still a little higher. But it was really cute when the coach was telling Suga the next time he gets in he should be more aggressive. And Suga's just like, yeah, yes, of course. And then he walks off to the side with everyone else, and coach is all surprised and says it's just like, it's because you said next time you're giving him hope that you're going to put him in again. Because he's the third year, this is his last year, and we're just like, oh, he got replaced by a first year. Well, yeah, he did, but like he mentioned earlier, he does care, and he's upset about it. The more matches they play, the more likely he's going to get put in too. So it's good that if Kageyama plays and makes him win, because it gives him more chances to play. Anyways, so that's that. And the last thing they mentioned was that with Kageyama in, they'll now have the duo of Kageyama and Hinata back at 100%, hopefully, because with their little decoy, with Hinata working at 100%, it'll help the team win and motivate. So, yes! It was a good episode, and it was really nice to see Suga in, and to just see how he works, and how he flows with the team, and how the other team react to them. Yeah, like the coach said, he was mainly going to have it as a breather for Kageyama and to get Suga some time in, but since they're so different, and there's techniques and their styles, it also leaves the team with some confusion, because they get so used to Hinata's and Kageyama's quicks and stuff. So he's going to use that a lot more on other teams later too. So it was good. Overall, good episode. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see episode 22 and just see our duo back in action, and just see how hopefully Kageyama has calmed down. Like I mentioned, there'll be some awkward Kageyama trying to comfort or support Suki in some way. And I believe in the next episode, because they still haven't done it yet, there's still the Oikawa and Kageyama flashback of when they're in middle school together. That flashback solidified that Oikawa is a yandere, and he has a temper. But you'll see that, and I hope you like this video. Again, sorry for this one's not late. But, sorry for the other one being late, and me rambling, and just all the mistakes I made. But anyways, you're probably used to that by now if you're watching me. But yeah, alright. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!